Hey, what's up, everyone? It's Jennie, the LDS Mission Coach, and you are listening to the LDS Mission Podcast, episode number 123, What I Learned at the Faith Matters Gathering. I'm Jennie, the LDS Mission Coach, and whether you are preparing to serve a mission, currently serving, a returned missionary, or a missionary mama like me, I created this podcast just for you. Are you searching for epic confidence, ready to love yourself and to learn the how of doing hard things? Then let's go. I will help you step powerfully into your potential and never question your purpose again. It's time to embrace yourself, embrace your mission, embrace your life, and embrace what's next. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the podcast. Thanks for being here. How is your fall going? How's your October? I feel like I have been so busy. I feel like I've been traveling a lot since the beginning of September. We've gone to Disneyland. I went to Dallas for a life coaching event. I was recently in Utah for the Faith Matters gathering. It's called Restore. I was recently there. I also went to a fun launch for one of the programs that I work in, Jody Moore's. She is rebranding her program, Be Bold, into the Lab. So we had a really fun dance party, launch party there, which was super awesome. Anyway, I feel like there's a lot going on. And I feel like now that all of that traveling is done, I finally this weekend told my husband, I'm like, hey, I think I'm going to finally unpack my suitcase because we'll be staying put here for a little bit, at least for the next few weeks until we're in Utah again for Thanksgiving. So it feels good to just kind of be staying put for a little bit. I was in a unpack, do laundry, repack, unpack, do laundry, repack. And so it feels good to be back. But I do feel like for sure my brain and my body are like, whoa, that was a lot. We need to take a step back and kind of rest because I've been pretty crazy busy, all with amazing, fun, really great opportunities to rub shoulders with people and talk to and connect with people that I love. And anyway, it's been really, really fun. I wanted to remind you guys that on November 6th, we are launching my new program, Mission Prep Plus. And last night, I had a meeting with all of the returned missionary mentors that are going to be working as teachers in that program. And they're all so amazing. And it's going to be, picture it like an MTC, but all for your mental and emotional well-being. So we're not going to be teaching you how to teach, or we're not going to be going over preach my gospel. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be giving you skills to learn how to cope with the difficulties and challenges of the mission, because the mission is going to be hard. Let's just say it like it is, shall we? You're going to feel a lot of feelings on the mission. And some of us, when we get out there, have the ability to sort of work with that and figure it out. And many of us, it kind of hits us out of nowhere. And so it has a tendency to cause us to kind of spiral downward rather than feeling empowered to be like, hey, I know what to do with this anxiety. I know how to think about this. I get to be myself and not compare myself and show up with authenticity. Those are all things that we help you do in Mission Prep Plus. And so if you're interested in learning more about that, I would just go to my website, jenniedildine.com. Remember, Jennie's always spelled with an IE, and go to the Preparing Missionary tab. I believe there's a Work With Me tab, and then there's a Preparing Missionary dropdown, and click on that. All the information, everything you need to know is on that webpage, and we're taking a very limited number of people. So if you're going on your mission in December, if you're going on your mission in January or February, you'll probably want to be in there so that you can get those tools and strategies to help yourself once you're out on the mission. One of the fun things we're doing too is we're going to have ongoing support throughout your mission, where you can email us anytime and ask us any question about what's going on, and we are going to be right there ready to help with anything you need. But again, all of those details are on my website. So that is super fun. And my coaches are going to be working in there, and I'm going to be teaching a masterclass in there, run the first 2 weeks of November, and it's going to be awesome. So, as I was sort of thinking about what I wanted to talk about today, is I was reflecting on the time that I had at the Faith Matters gathering a few weekends ago. It was called Restore. This is their second year doing that, and they had speakers and musical presentations and all kinds of amazing opportunities to feel uplifted and inspired. And then there was also a series of booths kind of back in this one area where you could go and talk to people. And I had a booth there at the Restore gathering. Super fun to be able to talk about Mission Prep Plus. And one of the things, because I was at that booth and I had my coaches at that booth, and I had some really cute t-shirts made, by the way. It was so fun. One of the things about being at that booth was that I didn't get a chance as much to hear as much of the speakers as I wanted to hear. So this is not going to be like a dissection of the speakers and what I learned from each of them, though they were all incredible, and I can't wait to watch the replays of all of those so that I can really dive in and listen, because they were all phenomenal. But this is more about like what I learned personally, having prepared for this booth where I talked about the work we do with missionaries, and also what I learned just interacting with all of you that were there. And I hope that these are some really good takeaways that we can all sort of apply not only to the mission, but to our everyday lives and the things that we kind of bump up into on a daily basis. So these aren't in any particular order, and I'm sure as the days go on and the weeks go on that I will come up with more things that I learned from the Restore gathering, but I just wanted to share a few of those with you. So the first thing that I learned is that people are just people. So what I mean by this is it was kind of, in a way, in some ways, a little bit intimidating for me to be at this Faith Matters gathering, because what we would say is there was a lot of people that were quote unquote LDS, quote unquote famous that were there. And I would see someone and be like, oh my gosh, there's so-and-so. Oh my goodness, there's so-and-so in real life. Steve Young was there speaking. And I think what I learned just being there and observing the way that these people interact with one another, the way these people interact with people that they talk to, the way that people in the booths that were next to me, the way those people interacted with other human beings, is that people are just people. We're all humans, kind of just doing the best we can, trying to put a little bit of good in the world and trying to like ourselves a little bit more than we do right now, trying to love ourselves a little bit more. And in the meantime, also trying to love other people a little bit more and help in any way that we can. I think this is super applicable, especially like when we think about the mission, and sometimes we might see like our district leader or our zone leader in a certain way, and you might see them highly like in a positive way, as if you sort of idolize them, but you also might see them in a really negative way. I know that when my oldest son, he was the AP for a while in his mission, and I remember him getting kind of stories about people who saw him in a certain way that wasn't necessarily positive just because of the position that he was in, which is interesting because he just really does have the best intentions and has the biggest heart. And so I think I just learned like we can just give people the benefit of the doubt, and even the people that are behaving the way that we maybe don't agree with or we think is arrogant, or even if we put them on a pedestal, we can take people off of that pedestal. We can give people the benefit of the doubt and understand that people are just people. They're human with human brains in the world, just doing the best that they can. And that actually is a pretty cool thing to realize. Or maybe it's after your mission and you're intimidated by your supervisor at work or whatever it is. Or maybe you're trying to apply for a job at, like my daughter-in-law, she's trying to get her first nursing job out of college. And sometimes we can, be sort of intimidated by that, but the people who are interviewing, they just are people too. She's just a person, and we're all really, I think, mostly, for the most part, have good intentions. Okay, the second thing that I learned is that everybody has a story and they want to tell it. So I was just, my coaches, when they were there and they're like, what do you want us to say? What do you want us to talk about? And I just said, people just want to tell their story. And we heard so many stories of missionaries. So many, if you're a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, you either know a missionary or you've been a missionary or you have your son or daughter serving right now, or maybe we actually talked to some people that were getting ready to leave on a single mission, not a couple's mission, but one woman was unmarried and she was older and she was getting ready to go out on a mission. And so I think we're all connected in that way. And what I said to my coaches is people just want to talk about it. People just want to tell you their experience. And I think that this is really important for us to know as we're interacting with people, is whether it be on the mission or, after the mission or just in our ward or whatever it is everybody has a story. And I think sometimes we get kind of caught up in wanting to tell our story, but one of the most connecting things that you can do is ask someone about their story. It was so cute. Some of the older grandpas that walked by with their cane and stuff, they wanted to tell us about their mission. And so it was just really fun. So everybody has a story and they want to tell it. Number 3, we have more in common than we realize. I think sometimes being a human on this planet, we start to believe or think that we're the only person that thinks this way, or we're the only missionary that feels this way, or we're the only person, returned missionary who is, experiencing social anxiety or whatever is going on for you, or a faith transition or whatever is happening for you. But just being in a room with so many like-minded, common people, as well as just the sheer number of people that we talk to about their missions, made me realize, and I think I always knew this, but just reminded me that we have so much more in common than we know. And so even if you feel a little bit isolated right now, know that you are not the only one. You're not the only one that thinks that way or feels that way or is experiencing the things that you're experiencing. That we all have much more in common than we understand, because we're all humans on the planet just trying to figure things out. Okay, number 4. The other thing that I learned, number 4, is that preparing missionaries of all ages are afraid that they don't know enough. I was actually pretty astounded by the number of people, again, senior couples, senior single sister, preparing missionary age, like the younger preparing missionaries, who I said, well, what are you most worried about? And they said, I'm afraid I don't know enough about the scriptures, about the gospel. And I had the opportunity to tell several people, you don't need to know anything. All you need to do is show up and be who you are. Our heavenly parents, they know your gifts, they know your talents, and you are the best one to go and do what they're asking you to go and do. If they wanted someone else there, they would have asked someone else to go. Someone else would have been called to that position. But there's no need to doubt your abilities. Now, don't misunderstand me. Like, if we have an area we sort of want to work on the language or like on our people skills or whatever, or like what we're teaching in Mission Prep Plus about how to manage your emotions and all of that, I'm all for that. But don't allow those sort of things that you want to work on or kind of improve in, don't let that prevent you from living the life you want to live. Here's the truth, you guys. None of us know enough. None of us know enough. And yet, whatever we know right now is always enough, because we know enough to take the next step. We know enough to trust in our heavenly parents and just take the plunge. And that's enough. Just who you are is enough. And I talked to a few people as this was sort of like a knowledge thing, like scripturally, but I also talked to a few people that were worried that they were too shy, or were worried that they wouldn't be bold enough, or worried that they wouldn't know what to say. And again, just remember that whatever stage of life you're in, you are who you are supposed to be for a reason. You have gifts and you will be able to reach people that other people can't. Okay? So just believe in yourself. And again, half the time we won't. That human brain, we're all human. We're all just doing the best we can. We all doubt ourselves all the time. But don't let that doubt in yourself stop you from living the life you want to live, or from having the mission that you want to have. Okay, I think I had 9 things. We're on number 5. Coming home earlier than you were planning shouldn't be as hard as it was. I feel like the most poignant moment of being at the booth with my coaches and talking to a lot of people was this group of girls came along, sisters, and I was talking to one of them. I said, "Are you guys preparing missionaries? Are you been on a mission? What stage you in?" And the one girl said, "Oh yeah, I've been on a mission. I've been home about a year." And I said, "Oh, awesome. Where did you serve?" And I could slowly start to see like some emotion like rise up in her, and then come to find out she'd served 2 months. And she said, I could tell when she shared that with me that she kind of tried to like put up a wall, and she was like, "But I'm fine now. Like I've met with a therapist and I figured out my anxiety." But I could see in her eyes that though she was doing better, like from an emotional standpoint, that it was still hurting, the fact that she had come home from her mission earlier than she had planned. And when she could see that I could see what was going on for her, she just broke down. And I said, "Hey, can I just give you a hug?" And I gave her a hug. And what I said to her as we were both crying is I said, "It just shouldn't have to be this hard. It shouldn't have to be this hard. A mission shouldn't have to be so hard, no matter how long you serve." Now, again, please don't misunderstand me. Missions are going to be hard. Even when I was talking to my returned missionary mentors last night, I was like, "Tell me about your mission." Like, "Oh, so hard and so rewarding." Missions are going to be hard, but we shouldn't have to carry around this self-judgment or this self-loathing or this shame or guilt or regret for the missions that we served. And so if you've come home earlier than you were planning, it's okay. And maybe you and I want to hop on a strategy call or something like that. And I did tell her, I'm like, "I don't want you to carry this for the rest of your life. You probably want to process coming home, what that looked like." And she put up a good front, but you could tell that there was still some pain there. And so I just want to put it out there, you guys, if you're still struggling and suffering from your mission, however long you served, just see if you can make peace with it. And you might need to unpack it with somebody. You might need to talk to a coach or a therapist or a trusted family member. But I do think that we can make the mission more manageable. Hopefully, the more people that get more tools and strategies to understand how to feel the way that you want to feel and be authentic and empowered and be confident, then the mission will be hard, but it won't cause suffering. So, number 6, this was huge. One of the things that I learned is how much people care about missionaries. I think so many people realize and understand that the mental and emotional piece has been missing from our mission preparedness for quite some time. and perhaps is one of the reasons that so many missionaries are struggling right now. I just had so many people that even though they didn't, stop and tell us their story, they still stopped and said, "Thank you so much for the work that you're doing." In fact, I had one person said, "Nobody's doing this. Nobody's talking about mental health for missionaries." And I said, "I know, kind of crazy, right? Don't you think it's about time?" And they said, "Yes, you are a pioneer." I was like, that's kind of cool to think about. Is most often, right, as we talk to people, what we saw was that mental and emotional health is addressed sort of once you're sort of in crisis mode on the mission. And that is why this Mission Prep Plus could be so powerful, is because hopefully then missionaries don't get into crisis mode. But we can say more about that later. But mostly you should just know is that people care about missionaries, and people care about the experience that you're having out there on your mission, that you've had on your mission, and people are thinking about you and they care. Okay, number 7, I am stronger than I think I am. If you're about ready to do something big that feels intimidating, maybe going on a mission at all, maybe applying for your first job after school, maybe you have a new calling in your student ward, or you're about to get married, or whatever it is, you are stronger than you think you are. Because what happens, right, is when we're about to do something big, our lower brain, it happened to me all leading up to this Faith Matters gathering, my brain was like, this is silly, we can't do this, how's this gonna work, it's never gonna work, and all of that. And here's the thing is none of that is true. You are stronger than you think you are. And when your brain starts popping off like that at you, you don't have to believe it. Or you can believe it and have a sort of bad day and then just keep moving forward. Here's the truth about being strong is you can accomplish anything if you're willing to feel. So all of this process leading up to this, all of the insecurity I felt, all of the frustration I felt, all of the doubt I felt in myself, I was like, okay, I guess we're feeling that today. And I'm willing to feel it and just keep going. Okay. Number 8, it's more important than you think to have other people help you. So this is really important. I tend to sort of like isolate myself sometimes and think, oh, I'm just going to do it on my own. I should be strong enough. I can just not ask for help. And it just so happened that my sister-in-law, who is also one of my coaches, shout out to Valerie, she was just like, hey, why don't I come with you to, do the setup and everything for the Faith Matters gathering? Because I had like this backdrop and a tablecloth, and I was like, sure, I guess, yeah. And I didn't want to have to ask anyone to come help me do that. But I was so glad that she was there. Like, to be frank, you guys, I'd never set up like a little backdrop like that before, and I would not have been able to do it by myself. And even not just the physical labor, but just knowing that she was there, someone I could kind of tell my thoughts to and tell my feelings to, was a huge help. And so don't be afraid if you're struggling, or even if you're not struggling, to surround yourself with people and be willing to ask for help. It's more important than you even realize. We sort of think, oh, it's important for me to be self-sufficient and to be strong on my own, which is huge. Like I said in number 7, you are stronger than you think you are. But number 8 is also, it's more important than you think to have other people help you and to ask for help and to let people in. Okay, number 9 is, I learned in preparing for this event what real courage is. And I learned it from talking to people, and I learned it from observing myself. And real courage is not the absence of fear. Real courage is being able to feel fear and counterbalance it with courage. If you think about it, if you weren't afraid, then you wouldn't have any need for courage. And so all of the times that you're like, I shouldn't be afraid, I shouldn't be nervous, it's just an opportunity for you to introduce courage. I think we think the most brave people are the people that seem like they have it all together, that they seem like they think they know what they're doing. But in truth, real courage is people who don't know what they're doing, who are afraid, who are insecure, who are uncertain, and they still take the next step. Okay? So tap into real courage, not the absence of fear, but taking fear, putting it in your backpack, and then go do the things you want to do. Go create the mission you want to create. Go live the life or create the marriage that you want to create. The truth is we're all afraid, which is funny. I was actually thinking about, I always seem to record a podcast right around Halloween about fear, and I hadn't even put it together that this was happening, this number 9 about fear. But here we are, almost Halloween, and just embrace the fear. Many times it's a sign you're on the right track. Many times it is a sign that your brain believes it's possible. What you think you can do is possible and feasible, or the fear wouldn't even exist. So tap into real courage, not the absence of fear, but holding fear, balancing it with courage, and taking steps forward anyway. All right, you guys, I hope that these have helped you. I'll just repeat them really quick. Number 1, people are people. Number 2, everyone has a story and they want to tell it. Number 3, we have more in common than we know. Number 4, preparing missionaries of all ages are afraid they don't know enough. Number 5, coming home earlier than you were planning shouldn't be as hard as it is. Number 6, people care about missionaries. People care about you. Number 7, I am stronger than I think I am, and I can accomplish anything if I'm willing to feel. Number 8, it's more important than you realize to have other people help you. And number 9, real courage is not the absence of fear, but the embracing of fear and moving forward anyway. So shout out to the Faith Matters Foundation. You guys can check them out on their website. I felt so much love and peace and abundance just for the opportunity to be in the same room with so many amazing humans. If you get a chance next year for Restore, you should totally go. It was an incredible weekend. Okay? Everyone have the most amazing week and happy Halloween, and we'll talk to you next time.
Serving a mission for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints can present a unique set of challenges. And many of those challenges you might not even see coming. So you're going to want a unique set of solutions. It's easier than you think to overcome worry and anxiety, serve the successful mission you've always dreamed of, and navigate your post-mission experience with confidence. That is why I created some amazing free goodies that I'm sharing in my show notes. Maybe you'll want to grab the free training for preparing missionaries, my video course for RMs, or maybe you and I should hop on a free strategy call. If you're ready to take your preparedness to serve or your preparedness to come home to the next level, then go grab one of those freebies. And in the meantime, no matter which part of the mission experience you are involved in, just know that Jennie, the LDS mission coach, is thinking about you every single day.